This is a Doki Doki Literature Club fan game that is not affiliated with Team Salvato. It is designed to be played only after the official game has been completed. You can download Doki Doki Literature Club at that place. By playing this modification, you agree that you are at least 13 years of age and you have played the original game. I agree. Sup, it's Hallie, and welcome to the full release of Tropical Rain. And I get the sensation, a joint frustration, like being caught in tropical rain. So I believe that's it. Oh, dear viewer. So, since I last recorded, I reinstalled OBS, and I did a little test with my mute key to see if it was the source of the problem. And not only is it the source of the problem, but it has actually gotten worse. To the point where it cuts out, like, entire blocks of my speech whenever I press it. So, there's, like, no saving it. In order to prevent the audio from cutting out, I have to just, like, straight up not use my mute key, which freaking sucks, but I'm gonna work with it the best I can. For you, dear viewer. For you. But let's not worry about that. Right now, it's time for Tropical Rain. I already played the demo. It was about an hour long, but that was a while ago, so we're just gonna check out the initial chapter once again, and we'll go from there. They say that high school is the best years of your life, but they also say that they're the worst. And I'll say that my high school years were, well, interesting. They were interesting. But I'll never be able to forget them. It was the day of the festival. Every year my school held a festival in November. It wasn't anything too big, though. All it was a chance for the clubs to show their stuff. And being in a club myself, me and the other members were going to show our stuff. The club I was in? The Literature Club. Hold your laughs. I was never really interested in literature and only really stayed for the girls. But eventually I began to appreciate it. Though, back on topic, the festival. We were all asked to pitch in, but I was kind of the odd one out. So I ended up having to help one of the other girls. I ended up choosing a shy girl named Yuri, and we had a good time making decorations. But enough thinking. Sitting up in my bed, I had begun to stretch my arms. Time to get ready. I threw the covers off my body as I slunk out of the warm embrace of my mattress. Oh, memory foam. You're too good for me. Throwing open the door to my bathroom, I grabbed a towel from the rack and opened the door to the shower. I turned it on and waited for it to warm up. When it got to my preferred temperature, I entered. I should comb my hair today. Yeah, I should look nice for the festival. I'm gonna be going up and presenting. I can't look like a dirtball. That would reflect poorly on the club. And on me, but more importantly on the club. I don't have much of a reputation to uphold. I can look like a dirtbag tomorrow. I turned off the water, grabbed my towel, and dried myself off. I wrapped the towel around my waist and stepped out of the shower. Need clothes. After a quick change of clothes, I was back in the bathroom staring at the comb I had borrowed from my dad. I don't think I've ever actually used one of these things. That's pretty sad. Combing my hair was a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. There's Sayori, a girl who's been my friend since we were kids. You know the kind. The type of friend you wouldn't see yourself making in any other circumstance. But that doesn't mean we aren't great friends. You don't keep a relationship like this going by just being acquaintances. Now, what does she have to say?
You look like Leon Kennedy!
Who the hell is that? Is that a compliment? Sayori giggled.
A compliment, Hallie. You look cute.
Feeling my face heat up, I began to try and salvage the situation. I'm not cute. I pointed my finger at her. You're cute. What the hell?
Thanks.
Perfect 10 there, Hallie. Really hit it out of the park on that one. With our short conversation having come to an awkward close, we began the walk to school in silence. After around a minute of walking, I stared at the decorations I held in my hands. Here I did most of the work, sure, but I enjoyed our time together. I hope we do eventually end up spending more time with each other. Just the two of us. I grinned at the thought. Yuri is, well, different. At first, she's a little hard to talk to. But if you get her talking about something she likes, it's like she becomes a whole different person. It's charming. It's an interesting aspect of her personality, and I hope to see it more often in the future. Yeah, I'm definitely not used to coming to school in my casual clothes. I'm thankful they let us for the festival, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not used to it. It feels too unprofessional. I've never been the most professional guy, but even I know when you should dress appropriately, and going to school is not the time for band t-shirts and jeans. It's your place of learning, but today doesn't count, so you can stop worrying, Hallie. Jeez. I approached the door to the club slowly.
Are you sure it's gonna work? It's gonna work, perfect.
I opened the door. I wasn't used to wearing casual clothes in school, but more so, seeing the girls in their casual clothes gave me whiplash, even though I would presumably have already seen Yuri in hers, Monica especially. I figured she would have tried to stay professional even if nobody else did. She was the professional type, Monica. Compared to someone like Natsuki and Sayori, who both were rowdy and different in their own ways, Monica was definitely more reserved. She was still fun to be around, of course, but she was a nice change of pace. As I thought about the situation, she walked up to me.
Hallie, good to see you. Did you finish your poem?
Yeah, I did. Let me pull it out. I began to take my bag off my back, but as I did, Monica put her hand up.
Oh, no, I trust you. You don't have to show me.
Alright then.
Anyway, why don't you go help Yuri with your guys' decorations? There are some other things I need to prepare before we start the actual festival.
Alright, sounds like a plan. As Monica is turning around to walk off, she stops and faces me.
Oh, and nice hair, Mr. Kennedy.
Damn, her too? Monica walked off, chuckling to herself. Who even is this guy? I shook my head and set down the decorations on a desk. After that, I walked up to Yuri, who was setting up her aromatherapy machine. So, what oils are you planning on putting in the diffuser? Upon hearing me speak, she jumped.
Hallie.
Oops.
Sorry, you scared me.
Well, shoot, in that case, I should be the one apologizing. I'm sorry about that. She takes a deep breath.
It's fine. Thank you for apologizing.
There's an awkward silence for a few seconds. So...
Oh, you wanted to know what I was putting in the diffuser, right?
After giving myself a high five for actually remembering the name, I nodded. Yeah, what oil are you going for?
I chose to use vanilla bean this time around. It's a popular scent I really enjoy, and it promotes relaxation. Perfect for reading our poems, don't you agree?
I do agree. Man, you really know your stuff, Yuri. I'm impressed. She looked rather embarrassed at the compliment.
Thank you.
Anyway, do you need some help setting up any decorations? I have all of our stuff over on that desk. I pointed over at said desk, and Yuri nodded.
I would really appreciate it. Thank you, Hallie. Oh, and nice hair, Kennedy-kun.
That was cute. But I still have no idea who that is. I sighed internally, but went to grab the decorations. After around 20 minutes, the two of us finished setting up the decorations. And I will say, we had a pretty good time doing so. Laughing when the other says a joke, thinking when the other says something philosophical. Sure, we're at school and aren't exactly having one-on-one time together, but I'm already having a great time. Being with Yuri it makes my day better. She's so interesting. She's super goddamn smart, always knows what to say, has interesting hobbies, and not to mention she's rather pretty. Pretty funny. Yeah.
It's finally time to start the festival.
Upon hearing those words, we all got into position. We greeted the attendees as they walked in, though they didn't seem too interested in much other than the cupcakes. I cringed. Let's just hope I'm incorrect in my assumption.
Okay, everyone.
Upon hearing Monica say that, I set down the piece of paper my poem was on. I think at this point I'm ready to go up and present.
It's time we go up and present poems. Is anyone willing to bite the bullet and go first?
Everyone seems to simultaneously get cold feet, save for...
I'll go. Wait, you will? Yeah, I guess. That's great. Okay, feel free to go up whenever you want, Natsuki.
Monica grinned.
No pressure. Yeah, because that helps me.
Monica nodded, giggled, and walked to the back of the room. Good luck, Natsuki. I'm rooting for you.
Oh, thanks, but I don't need any luck. I'm gonna be the best public speaker ever. Just you wait and see.
Natsuki smiled proudly, marching off to the front of the room to present her poem. I chuckled. Her pride and confidence sure reigned true. I stopped chuckling when she cleared her throat and began to speak.
This poem is called Making Progress.
Natsuki cleared her throat and began to read. Did I already say that? Hold on, I gotta check. Yeah, she cleared it twice. That's fine. Whatever.
Have you ever wasted time when trying to start? You are left to wonder why there are thoughts from your heart, although the ink on the page tells the state of mind. Colorful words and similes are so brittle, when the only colors are like crayons, showing my passions as if they mean so little. Your canvas is immature. It is not what a masterpiece defines. But I will take the colors of the crayon box and draw the lands by the sea. I will take the colors of the crayon box and shine the rays on my dreams. As I wake up tomorrow fully knowing that my crayons are traded for ink and become ever-flowing, I can be confident that my page truly represents me. Until then, I will take the colors of the crayon box and build a castle with a pretty queen. I will take the colors of the crayon box and decorate the forest with the animals I see. No more will I let down my thoughts in my heart. They will shine bright from the very start, and each poem will show what progress can truly be.
Natsuki stopped speaking and the room went silent. Wow, that was incredible. She did great. And the rest of the room seems to agree with me, going off the sudden uproar of applause. Natsuki blushed upon hearing her praise. She lightly bowed and slowly returned to the back of the room, smile on her face. So far, so good.
So guys, what did you think? I loved it. You did a great job.
Monica instantly goes into analysis mode.
There's definitely a ton of emotion here that I feel is absent in your other ones. The emotion was there, but it wasn't fully realized. Although now that you've seen your progress, you can show it and convey it better.
Natsuki was frozen.
Am I close?
You're right on the mark.
Well, analysis aside, I think you killed it. I also really enjoyed it. It's clear you really know what you're doing. That type of writing is not my favorite, but I think you did a swell job at writing it and presenting it. And like Monica mentioned, there was a lot of emotion present, which I especially enjoyed. Good job, Natsuki.
Wait, you actually liked it?
Wait, is it really that surprising? I didn't.
Hey, chill out. I didn't mean anything by it. Of course you liked it. I wrote it after all.
Yuri giggled.
Of course.
No, Yuri said that.
Of course. Hey, guys. I'm really glad you're all getting along. But one of us needs to go up and present.
Oh, you're right. I guess I'll do then.
Thank you, Sayori. Sorry for forcing your hand.
It's all right. All right, let's do this.
The rest of the girls turned to face Sayori as she walked up to the front of the room. Upon being in front of everyone, she pulled out a piece of paper. Can she do that? Upon muttering this, someone whispered into my ear.
Why not?
I shrugged. Although, right when I did this, Sayori began to speak. Natsuki shushed me and I watched on as my best friend began to read her poem. Sayori began by introducing herself, which isn't something that Natsuki did.
Hi everyone, my name is Sayori, and my poem is called Piece of Paper.
She cleared her throat.
I'm standing in the sun, staring intently at a piece of paper, an empty white as snow piece of paper. Hand at my hip, I prepare myself. It's time. No more, I'll do it later. Move my head, look over at the clock tower. Tick-tick it goes, walking with its movement. I growl and focus back on the paper. Hand on its hip, it stares back. It wants my thoughts, my feelings. It wants my deepest, darkest secrets. Well, no, I say. I'll never tell you what flavor of popsicle I like most, or what I like to spread on my toast. But this piece of paper is no laughing matter. Eyes closed. Thoughts, they swirl around like a whirlpool of imagination. They all want to burst out and put themselves on the paper. Determined. The paper refuses. Draw. Mind and hands to do the work. Minutes, hours of waiting, over in a second. My eyes open. It's dark. A desk lamp brightens my surroundings, like an angel in a world broken. On the snow-white paper, there it lies. A big blotch of ink from my pen. I slap a hand to my head.
Sayori put down the piece of paper and gave a bow. The audience, knowing their cue, gave their applause. I joined in. In all honesty, it was a nice poem, but I believe I liked Natsuki's more. This one definitely gave me vibes of I don't know what to write about. That didn't make it a bad poem, though. Far from it, actually. But it just means I didn't enjoy it as much. Regarding the applause, she got less than Natsuki, but it was about equal. It seems me and the rest of the room share the same sentiment. I won't tell Sayori any of that, though. That would just make me an ass. Sayori picked up the piece of paper and returned to those of us sitting in the back of the room. Monica stood up from her seat and nodded to us.
I would really like to discuss her poem, but we do not have much time left. I'm just gonna go up now and be as fast as possible.
I shook my head. Don't stress too much. Take your time. It's okay. She took a deep breath and seemed to be thinking of my words over.
All right. Thanks, Hallie. I'll do my best.
Monica walked off and over to the front of the room. She cleared her throat and began to present her poem.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monica, and my poem is called Not Afraid.
She cleared her throat, as everyone else had done so far, and began to read.
It's different this time. I don't know what it is. The noise, the pain, the feeling of emptiness. Gone. It's but a whisper in the wind now. What changed? Who changed? Everything seems the same. But nothing is. Correct. I'm happy. I'm overjoyed. This is exactly how I want it to be. But it's not right. Something changed. It's different this time. I don't know what it is, but I'm not scared. I stand tall at the differences. I stand up and I face them head on. I'm not afraid of change. And I'm not afraid to change.
That was confusing. I could hardly understand it, really. But it was Monica's writing style, so it was familiar. In a move I actually had not predicted, she received a grand amount of applause. It wasn't a bad poem, but surely a few people in here would be confused. Though, then again, Monica is rather popular. I don't want to say that's why she got the applause she did, but I'll imply it. Monica grinned and walked back over to us. That sounded like a formerly aware Monica poem.
So, who wants to go up next?
If I don't go up, it's Yuri's turn. Would she want to go up now or later? I turned to look at her, and she seems to be panicking. I decided to speak up. I'll go.
Great. Thank you for speaking up, Hallie.
I nodded and stood up. As I walked up to the front of the classroom, I began to have second thoughts. But I stopped them. You can do this, Hallie. You're a fucking beast. And beasts don't let public speaking get to them. Now fired up, I faced everyone from my spot at the front. I cleared my throat and began to speak. Upon finishing my poem, I didn't get much applause. Probably because the poem did not exist. About what I expected, I'm still new to this after all. I walked back to the group and sat down. Once I did, Sayori came up behind me and whispered into my ear.
Nice job, Hallie.
Thanks, but I think My voice trailed off as I looked over at Yuri. She seemed worried. Shit, she's probably super nervous, isn't she? I should probably help her out. That's what friends do, right? I got out of my chair and walked over to her.